We are shepherds to some, and we are sheep to some others. Dearly beloved in Jesus Christ, welcome to the reflections of 4th Eastern Sunday, which is also commemorated as Good Shepherd Sunday. Dear brethren in Jesus Christ, on this Sunday, let us meditate our roles as both sheep and shepherd. At the very outset, let me tell you, every human being on this earth take the role of both sheep and shepherd according to the circumstances that demand. Once there were some tourists went to the Middle East for a tourism, and they happened to encounter a typical Middle East shepherd. The shepherd took the tourists to his farm, and he showed the entire farm and the sheepfold that he holds. And he took all the tourists to his sheepfold, and they were really enthralled and amazed at the typical way of the sheep house that this man has. One of the tourists observed that there is no gate for the sheep house where the shepherd keeps his sheep. Interestingly, he went and inquired about this with the shepherd. Then the shepherd says, "I am the gate." He told the tourists, "Once I keep all the sheep into the house, once the lights are off, I lie down at the entrance of the house, so that I become a gate to the sheepfold. There is no chance for any sheep to get out of the gate unless the sheep steps on me. In the same way, no predator can come into the sheepfold without stepping unto me." Dear friends in Jesus Christ, the same imagery is depicted in today's gospel passage by Jesus to his disciples. He categorically mentions, "I am the door, and I am the good shepherd." Dear friends, on this day, let us meditate on the characteristics of both sheep and a shepherd. First and foremost, let us try to understand the characteristics of a sheep. In the gospel passage, it is very well mentioned that the sheep will listen to the voice of the shepherd. This is the first characteristic that the sheep should have. The sheep should understand and listen to the voice of the shepherd and recognize the voice. From the beginning of the salvation history, we have so many personalities who heard the voice of the Lord and recognized it. Beginning with Abraham, who heard the voice of the Lord, and Moses, Elijah, Elisha, and all the prophets, till Jesus who died on the cross. The second one, follow the shepherd. Often, many of us listen to the voice of the Lord, but we don't follow the voice of the Lord. Which means we don't act upon the voice of our own conscience, which was provoked by God. Those of us who hear the word of God but do not act upon it are like those people who build their house on the sand and those seeds which fell on the side of the road, which were trampled by the people. Therefore, not just listening the voice of the shepherd, but also following the shepherd carefully will make us a good sheep. Everyone needs to be a sheep before one becomes a shepherd. And this period is called preparatory period. All of us need to prepare ourselves for the task that was given to us by the Lord. Some of us called to be teachers, some of us called to be prophets, some of us evangelists, and some of us called to lead a family life. When we are in this preparatory time, we become the sheep that should listen to the voice of the Lord and act upon the voice of the Lord. Now, let's try to understand the characteristics of a shepherd. John clearly mentions the characteristics of a shepherd in the person of Jesus himself. The first characteristic is the shepherd enters by the main gate, which implies shepherd is a person with integrity and authenticity. There is no deceit in him, He is not a thief. He is not the one who comes to steal the sheep, but he is the one who goes with authority to protect the sheep. The second characteristics of the shepherd is he calls his sheep by name. Here we need to understand every shepherd must know his own sheep. Pope Francis puts it in a beautiful words when he says, the shepherd must know the smell of the sheep. This implies that a shepherd should know each and every sheep personally. Some of us are in high position. Some of us have to boss over others. Some of us have to rule over others according to the circumstance. But with what kind of a face you take care of the people who are subjected to you? The employees lower than your rank, the people who work in your institutions, the people who come to your aid or help both materially or spiritually. The third characteristic is the shepherd is the door of the house. The door implies protection from outside and security for those who are inside. Therefore, the role of every shepherd is to take care of all those people who are under him. These are the main three characteristics of a shepherd. Now, many of us who are Catholics erroneously imagine the shepherds are only the priests and the religious. But in fact, no. The role of a shepherd can be played by anyone according to the circumstances. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the faithful are divided into two kinds of priesthood. The first one is sacramental priesthood, which is pertaining to all the ordained ministers. The second one is royal priesthood. Under this category come all the faithful who are baptized in the Catholic Church. Therefore, on this Good Shepherd Sunday, remember, all of us have to play the role of both sheep and shepherd, which can be translated as preparatory period and the executing period. And for these two roles, we need the help of the God who is the supreme shepherd of all of us. On this Sunday, let us try to understand the roles of our own lives as sheep and shepherd and ask God for his help in these roles. Let God bless us all. Have a blessed Sunday.